Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Night Leadership Development Training. My name is Jessica Hill, and before we hear from tonight's incredible trainer, it is time for our Elevate and Execute tip. Tonight's Elevate and Execute tip is this: consistency builds confidence. Many people believe they need more confidence before they take the next step. What I have learned is that confidence usually comes after action, not before it. There was a time when I thought I needed to feel more confident before trying something new. What I discovered is that confidence grows when you consistently show up, even when you do not feel completely ready. Every time you follow through on a commitment, learn a new skill, or push through a challenge, you build trust in yourself. And when you trust yourself, your confidence grows. So this week, focus less on feeling confident and more on being consistent. Keep showing up, keep learning, keep growing. Because when you consistently show up, confidence will follow. And speaking of growth, leadership, and personal development, today we are honored to hear from someone who continues to make an impact through mentorship, consistency, and servant leadership. As a multiple six-figure earner and respected leader, Coach Seymour Greenage Blake has inspired and developed countless people, both personally and professionally. And I know tonight's training is going to bring tremendous value to everyone on this call. So wherever you are joining from tonight, lean in, remove distractions, and get ready to take notes. It is truly my honor and privilege to introduce Coach Seymour Greenage Blake.
There we go. Thank you very much for the introduction, Jessica. Appreciate it. I put on my prosperity oil before we get started here. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Tonight going to be interesting teaching, something that we need. I've spoke about this before, but this time I'm going to get a little bit more intense into it so that we can understand what we actually have in our hands. Because a lot of us don't appreciate that value because of how much it costs us to get started. When we do something free, we feel that it has no value. But what we have in our hand is worth millions and millions of dollars. And how I know that? Because we have people that have generated millions of dollars in this business and in this industry that we are in. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera so I can really bring this message to you tonight. And like I say, every week, I'm going from just hoping that one person get the message and that every single person on this call tonight gets the message. Right now we have 30 people on the call, and hopefully we'll get some more before the end of the call, but I'm hoping that every single person that's on this call tonight will get the message that I'm going to be bringing to y'all tonight. With that said, let's go ahead and go off camera so we can get started. Tonight's topic is, what is real-time freedom? Let me say that again. What is real-time freedom? And I want to break that illusion of ownership and reclaiming your life. Okay, so I want to start by saying good evening to everyone. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be here tonight. Why? Because whether you realize it or not, you have already invested the most valuable thing that you own. You didn't invest money because you can earn that back. You didn't invest your education because knowledge can continue to grow. You invested your time. And once time is spent, it's gone forever. Yesterday is not coming back. June 16, 2025 is not coming back. Okay? It's gone. You may have some memories and some stuff like that, but what happened that day is gone. That time that you had is gone. We've been on this earth longer than most of us have left on this earth. You know, that is why I believe that the greatest misunderstanding in our society is that people have been taught to chase financial freedom without ever understanding that the deeper principle of time freedom. See, most of us wake up every morning believing that we're working to build a better future. We get up before the sun rises. We fight traffic. Some of us even spend 8, 10, and sometimes even 12 hours or more on a job. Then we come home exhausted. We sit down, we relax a little bit, we eat dinner, watch a little bit of television, and then what we do, we prepare ourselves again to repeat that same process all over again the next day. We called it a living. But if we're honest with ourselves, many of us are simply surviving. We tell ourselves that one day, after enough years have been passed on us working on this job, that we'll finally have the opportunity to enjoy life, that we'll travel after we retire. We'll spend more time with our family after we retire. We will even start to build a business after we retire because we don't have to go to work anymore. Some of us will tell ourselves we'll even write that book after retirement about our life and our story. The problem is this: life is not guaranteed to wait for you to retire. It's not. So I want to challenge you the way that we think tonight. I want to ask a question that many people never stop to consider. What is the greatest form of wealth? It is not measured by the amount of money that your bank account has. What if true wealth is measured by the amount of control that you have over your own life? What if the richest person in this room is not the person with the biggest house or the newest luxury vehicle, but the person who can decide how they will spend their day without fear, without stress, and without asking permission for someone else? See, when I began to think about this subject, and this came to my mind the other day, I noticed that I noticed something very interesting about the world that we live in today. Almost everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything that was placed here by the Creator has somehow been packaged, controlled, and actually sold back to us. If you don't believe that, the trees was already here, but someone learned to harvest those fruit, package it, create an industry around it, and sell it back to us. The rivers were already flowing long before there were corporations that decided to bottle that water and create multi-million dollars off of that bottled water business by selling it back to us. The land already existed before any government drew property lines. But now people spend 30 years making mortgage payments for a small piece of something that no human actually created. And if you think deeply enough about it, almost everything that naturally exists has become something that generates profit. Growing up, I didn't have to go to a store to buy mangoes. I walked outside and went to and knocked some mangoes down and eat it. Now you go to the grocery store and you pay $3 to $4 for one mango. My mom would send me to the store with an empty gallon of bottle and tell me to go fill it up with some water and bring it back home. I didn't have to pay for that. Now you pay for bottled water every day. There's still some gas stations that you can go to and get air in your tire free. But then there are also some that you go pay $2 for 60 cents worth of air. And when it runs out, you got to pay another $2 to get 60 cents more of air. That was free growing up. I came to the United States in 1980. I joined the military. I was stationed in Germany. Because of my rank, I was allowed to live off base and get my own apartment off base. I called my dad and told my dad they're trying to rip me off because I was not an American. And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "They want me to pay $900 for a one bedroom apartment." We grew up paying $84 for a 4 bedroom house. What is really time freedom? Okay. Let me be very clear. This is not to criticize business. See, in fact, business is one of the greatest forces for innovation and progress in the world. Business creates jobs, it solves problems, it improves lives. The lesson is not that business is wrong. The lesson is that ownership changed everything. The people who own the orchids, they profit differently from the people who actually pick the fruits. The people who actually own the bottling companies profit differently from those who simply buy the water. The people who own the lands build wealth differently than those who simply rent or lease it. Somewhere around along the way, society became very good at teaching people how to do what? Work, but not nearly as good as teaching them how to own. Think about this for a moment. Your first currency that was ever given to mankind, to you, was not gold. It was not silver. It was not even paper money. It was time. See, every single person listening to this message right now woke up this morning with exactly the same 24 hours. Understand that billionaires does not have 26 hours in a day. CEOs does not receive 28 hours. Politicians, athletes, entrepreneurs, laborers, we all receive the same exact daily deposit of 24 hours. The Creator made one thing equal among all humanity, and that is time, people. It is time. You cannot borrow more of it. You can't manufacture more time. You can't store it in a saving account. Once a day passes it, and once a day passes it is gone. It's gone once the end of that day. So the difference between people is not the amount of time that they have. The difference is the amount of control that they have over their time. So many people do not own their schedule. But you know what owns their schedule? The alarm clock. That alarm clock tells them when to wake up. Then when they wake up and they go to work, their employer tells them when they can take lunch. Their vacation request determines whether they can attend a family reunion, celebrate an anniversary, or watch their child walk across that graduation stage. If they become sick, they worry about missing work. If a loved one needs care, that individual starts to worry about losing income. Their entire life revolves around the next paycheck because they have been conditioned to exchange hours for dollars. And understand, I am not knocking a job because I had one. But like I say all the time, use that job as a vehicle to get to where you're trying to get to, especially if you're on this call and you're a part of a business that can generate passive income to you if you work that business just as hard, if not harder than the way you work your job. Because the work you're doing at your job, you are helping to build a business for somebody else, and then you come home and be too tired to work your own. You wouldn't even put an hour into it or even 20 or 30 minutes into your job or your business because you're tired because you just came from first busting your brain for somebody else's business to build that business for them. And brain tiredness is worse than labor tiredness. There's absolutely nothing wrong with honest work. Understand that. Don't take that message that I'm giving you wrong. See, work builds discipline. It also builds character and responsibility. And every successful entrepreneur that you know and that I know has worked hard. You cannot tell me that Coach Tina, Coach Charlotte, Coach Marcus, Coach Sonic, none of these coaches, Jessica, none of us, you can tell none of us that we don't work hard if we're really building the business. Okay? The problem is not working again. The problem is believing that trading time for money is the only path available. That's what people think. But if your income completely stopped, the moment you stop working, then your life is tied to a system that demands your constant presence. Remember, a couple weeks ago, the teaching was about you're not really making money until you're making money when you stop working. Understand that you're not just selling labor. You're selling moments that you will never get back. You're selling birthdays, anniversaries, family dinners, and opportunities to create memories that no amount of money can replace. I remember when my five-year niece passed away. And I went to the director and I said, hey, tomorrow I won't be here. I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks. I'm going home because my niece passed away. And he had the nerve to look at me and say, you don't have PTO time to leave. I looked at him and I said, I didn't ask you if I had PTO time. I'm telling you what I'm getting ready to do. And he said to me, you're not going to get paid for that. I said, I didn't ask you that. I'm telling you again what I'm getting ready to. Tomorrow I will not be here. And he said to me, but my PTO don't end till tomorrow. I said, let me ask you a question. If you're not here, do I not cover your shift? And if I'm not here, don't you not cover my shift? So I'm telling you, you can do whatever you need to do when I leave tomorrow, but tomorrow I'm getting on a plane and I'm going back home. Whether you're approved by going home or not, you make that decision what you want to do after I leave. I was not going to have nobody have control of my time. But how did I get there? Because I built a business that was able to generate income for me, whether I'm at work or not. Everyone on this call should be thinking the same, have that same mindset to build your business to where you have that passive income that if you miss work, you're not stressing out, you're not worrying about not receiving the income because you're not at work. Again, you're not making money until you're making money when you're not working. I want y'all to get that in your mind and understand that. So let's go back to the example of the trees. Again, the trees was already here. Fruit grew naturally from the earth. Yet someone looked at that simple reality and saw an opportunity. They created orchids. They built supply chains. They developed packaging, transportation, branding, and distribution. The average person, we walk into the grocery store and we buy a piece of fruit. The owner of that system earned income from thousands and even millions of those transactions throughout the day. The lesson is not about apples and oranges. The lesson is about understanding the power of creating value instead of only consuming value. The same principle applies to the water. That water flowed through streams and rivers long before there were plastic bottles and corporate labels Someone looked at that natural resource and created a system around convenience, purity, transportation, and branding. Today, people purchase bottled water every day without giving it much thought. You don't even think about that. Again, this is not about criticizing the idea of bottled water. It's about recognizing that the greatest wealth often belongs to those who solve problems and create systems that what serves people. Don't we not have a business of where we serve people? So if you use that mindset with your business, just imagine where you could be today in life. You think that Charlotte got to platinum because she just sat around and didn't take advantage of that system? You think Tina got to pearl? You think Coach Marcus got to ruby? No. We put in the work. You have to put in that work if you want to really generate that time freedom. Because most of us say we want freedom, but we're looking at that freedom as financial freedom and not time freedom. So I want you to imagine that your life, what your life would look like if money was no longer a deciding factor behind every choice that you make. Imagine waking up and deciding to spend that day with your grandkids because you wanted to. When I tell you that's the best feeling in the world for me, it's the best feeling in the world. And I never understood why my parents loved their grandkids more and seemed to show more time, attention to their grandkids than they did with their own kids until I had my own. Imagine being able to care for your aging parent without worrying about losing income because you can't go to work. Imagine able to take 30 days to write a book, to travel across the country, volunteer in your community like Coach Charlotte does, or simply rest and recharge because your life has been all built around purpose instead of pressure. That is what many people think financial freedom is. But in reality, what they're longing or what they're longing for is a time freedom, like I just said, not financial freedom, but time freedom. One of the greatest traps of modern society is convincing people that more money automatically equals more freedom. See, many people earn six-figure incomes on their job, but yet have less control over their time that someone is making half of what they make as much as they do. They have bigger houses, but you know what come with those big houses? A larger mortgage. They drive luxury car, but they have larger payments. If that six figure goes away, the mortgage, the car is gone. If they don't have something to fall back on with a business object, a business, for example. Some of them wear expensive watches. I know I'm a watch freak. I have over 100 watches. So every day I put a different watch on. But they wear those watches and they're complaining that they never had enough time to spend with their family. They wear the Gucci's, they wear somebody else's last name, but they don't have their own brand. They go out and they buy those Michael Jordan shoes for $200 and $300, but have no stocks in Nike. They accumulate possession, but sacrifice peace. I just love that sound. They have built lifestyles that requires them to keep running faster and faster just to stay in the same place. See, the truth is that time freedom is not about avoiding responsibility, guys. It is not about laziness or sitting around doing nothing. In fact, people who experience true freedom often work very hard because they are building, creating, serving, and helping other people. If you don't believe that, ask Coach Marcus about that. The difference is they are working because they choose to, not because they're trapped. Their work is connected to their purpose rather than their survival. They wake up with excitement instead of dread because they know that they're building their own vision instead of simply maintaining someone else's vision. Another thing that we must understand is that real-time freedom requires stewardship. We often talk about managing money, but very few people talk about managing time. Let me ask y'all this question, and I want you to answer this in the chat. If someone deposited $86,400 into your account every single morning, and they told you that whatever you did not use by the end of that day will disappear forever, would you take the time to spend that $86,400? And if you would, put a yes in the chat. I'm going to give each one of you at least 10 seconds to answer that question. If you had deposited $86,400 in your account every single day, would you make sure that you spend every single cent of that $86,400 before the end of the day so you don't lose what's remaining? Okay, so you would spend every bit of that $86,400, right? But yet every day, each of us receive 86,400 seconds in a day, and we don't use all 86,400 seconds of that day. Some of us invest those seconds in learning, building, serving, creating, and growing. Other allows them to disappear through distraction, negativity, fear, and the biggest one, procrastination. The greatest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is often found in how they invest those daily deposit of the time that they have given. See, we must also teach the next generation differently. We cannot continue passing down only the habit of working hard without also passing down the wisdom of working with purpose. I remember raising my two boys. At the age of 2 and 6, I went to the Sam's Walmart stuff and I bought 4 bubblegum machines, 2 for each one of them. And I took those bubblegum machines and I put them in barbershops. Tuesdays was family day for me and my 2 boys because I was off from work that day. We went to the barbershops, we empty out the money, we replaced the bubble gums in the machine, we went to the credit union, and I created an account for both my sons in their name, me as the parental custodian, and they got their own little credit union card. And we'll go to the bank and I will have them hand their little cards to the teller and ask them for how much money they wanted to take out their accounts. I remember the first time we did that, that teller looked and, oh, that is so cute. I said, no, that's not cute. That's teaching them financial strategy. They learned from the age of 2 and 6, they started learning financial strategy, how to handle money. It got to the point to where when my oldest son grew up and had a job, and he'll come home on payday, and he will take some of his money and give $100 to a little brother because his little brother wasn't working. He was understanding how to keep that money among the family from the age of when he was like 16 or 17 when he got his first job working at Hooters as a cook. He came home, got $100, gave it to his brother, and told him, go put that in the bank. Because they were learning from they were 2 and 6 about money. We don't do that with our kids anymore. See, we should teach our children about ownership, investing, discipline, entrepreneurship, and service. We should show them that money is simply a tool And that is the real goal. It is to create life where they have the freedom to become who God created them to be. The greatest inheritance we can leave is not just money, guys. It's a mindset that understands how to build, preserve, and multiply opportunities. As I look around the world today, I see people paying for things that naturally existed long before any of us arrived. We buy fruits that are once grew freely. We buy water that once flowed freely. We buy land that no human created. In many ways, it almost feels as though everything around us has been turned into commodity. But instead of becoming discouraged by that reality, perhaps we should learn from it. Perhaps we should realize that the world rewards those who create value, who solve problems, and build systems that serve others. Paula has created that for us. See, maybe the lesson is not to complain about the game. Maybe the lesson is to understand the game well enough to play it wisely and ethically. So tonight I want to leave you with this challenge. Stop asking yourself only how much money you want to make. Start asking yourself how much of your life you want to own. Stop measuring success only by the size of your paycheck and begin measuring it by the amount of control that you have over your schedule, your health, your relationship, and your purpose. Begin building assets instead of only collecting liabilities. I was in a company where we all are saying was take a little bit of money, buy an asset that can create more money. Begin creating opportunities instead of only consuming them. Begin investing your time in activities that will continue producing value long after today's work is finished. See, because at the end of our lives, no one will gather around and ask how many hours was spent at the office. They will not remember how many meetings that you attended or how many emails were answered. They will remember the life that you touched, the people that you helped, the wisdom that you shared, the family that you loved, and the legacy that you left behind. See, they will remember whether you used the gift of time to build something that really mattered. They may have even taken the trees and sold us the fruit. They may have bottled that water and sold it back to us, divided the land and sold it through contracts and mortgages. They may even find a way to profit from very area that surround us, and they have. But there's one thing that still belongs to you right now, and that is the choice of what you will do with the time that you have left. You cannot change yesterday. You can't change tomorrow because it's not promised. But today, that's in your hands. So don't simply chase financial freedom. Chase the freedom to live intentionally. Chase the freedom to spend time with your family, to improve your health, to build your faith, to grow your business, to serve your community, and to create opportunities for the generations that will come after you. Build a life where your work supports your purpose instead of replacing it. Okay? Build systems that continue to bless people even when you're not in the room. Build a legacy, guys, that says you understood that the greatest wealth was never found in your wallet, but in the wise investments of the time that God gave you. Because real time freedom is not the absence of work, it is the presence of choice. It is waking up each day knowing that your life belongs to your purpose and not merely to your obligation. It is understanding that while money can be lost and earned again, every moment that passes is a piece of your life that can never be replaced. And when you truly understand that, you begin to realize that the greatest investment you will ever make is not the stock market, not real estate, not even a business. The greatest investment that you will ever make is in how you choose to spend the precious gift of your time. And remember, most people wear a watch to tell time. I wear a watch to let you know how valuable my time is. Back to you, Jessica.
Wow, that's very powerful. Everybody, please show some love for Coach Seymour in the chat. He drops some gems as he always does. And I want to caveat on that. Take the time to cherish who you have in your, in your life, your family, your friends, because like he said, time is precious and tomorrow is never promised. So make the best use of your time, whether it's building your business, spending time with your family, building a legacy. So when the time happens, you know that you've done everything in your power to build your legacy and leave something behind for your children, your nieces, nephews, whoever it is. Like some of us don't have kids, but we have nieces and nephews. So just like I'm going home tomorrow to spend time with my parents for their 50th, and I'm going to cherish every moment of it because tomorrow's never promised. Coach Marcus, do you have anything you want to add? Or Coach Charlotte? All right. If not, I hope everybody takes this and cherishes their time and listens to the replay on this because this is very powerful. And everybody stay safe. And this weekend, is might close. Oh, you want, hold on. Sorry. There you go.
Okay. Hey, first of all, I want to congratulate all of the people that getting the rank back. I was excited. Um, been hitting the gym, hard because of my cocoa blue. So if you haven't gotten cocoa blue, make sure you put some on order, even if you got to get the sample pack. But you ain't gonna want the sample pack. You're gonna want the big pack because they done demolished my one pack in this house. I done had to start on the second pack. Well, I got a family of 8, which is nothing to me.
Mm.
If I could go down my neighbor's house every day and help her out because she just got out of the hospital. I mean, bathing, feeding, and doing all of the work, coming back here doing my work, taking the kids to their practice and back, attending my veterans events, the women in combat events, and all the other daggone stuff that I do. You can do it too. So don't say what you can't do because my legacy is for my kids and my grandkids, and I am planning to leave this business with them. It has been good to me. It has been good to my family. It has been good to my friends and me. Most of you don't know that I got a plate in the middle of my throat with 4 screws holding my daggone head up. I got 3 degenerating discs in my back. I have bladder incontinence. I have been a medical mistake 3 times. I had asthma. I have not had an asthma trigger in 5 years, 3 months. That is a blessing. That's the reason I stick with this company. That's the reason that I have planted my flag. And I'm not even going to go into all of the sicknesses that my husband had, because if I'd known he was that daggone sick, with all those illnesses, when I married him, he would have been still in Virginia. But because of these products, this is a healthy man. I can't even keep him still now. He like Roto-Rooter. So we got the Energizer battery and Roto-Rooter running together. Back to you.
Thank you, Coach Charlotte. Love you. All right, Coach Marcus, what you got?
And that is hilarious, Coach Charlotte. That's my wife and daughter over here
Roto-Rooter,
laughing over in the
energizing buddy.
kitchen. So um that is so true. Many of us have our flags planted here because of the impact the products have made. Yesterday, I was sitting here at the table, and my mother-in-law called my wife, and then my wife called her back, and she said a miracle happened, right? And she was like, "What?" She's like, "The stuff you sent me, I have no pain." And so we sent her a jar of the pain lotion a couple weeks ago because she has been dealing for years with that just arthritis pain, shoulders, back, knees, um, and she finally was open to wanting to use the products, and so we sent her a jar of the pain lotion, and so she used it as instructed, just rubbed it onto the areas, and my father-in-law helped her rub it on some of the areas she couldn't reach, stopped her pain, and she hadn't even used black seed oil yet. So my father-in-law, he's been using black seed oil for like a year now, and he has no pain. And they're both 78 years old. 78, he goes to the gym every day, no pain, works out, and he tells his friends at the gym about the benefits of black seed oil. So if this is the only company I've ever been with where if I didn't earn a single dime, I would still buy these products and share them. We do it anyway. We do network marketing every single day because we're always sharing things we like with people they know, but knowing that we can impact people we care about with these products, we have to be more vocal about what we have our hands on because there are people out there suffering. People on Facebook are suffering. I'll see some posts that you guys would appear to be secret agents. We don't know you are even a member. You're posting like I see people posting attraction marketing posts, all these inspirational posts, not a single post about the products or the company. Then you're wondering why, you have not earned any commissions other than matrix pay in like a week or 2 weeks because no one knows you're even in business. And we have these products that can help save people's lives. And so that's why I'm here. I'm more about the product. Yes, getting paid the income's great, but if without these products, none of us would be here. And so just want to just encourage you guys, Miss Charlotte, she's at the gym, and she volunteers for several organizations. And despite some of the challenges she has, she never makes an excuse, for not at least sharing the product with at least one per person a day. And so, and with what we have our hands on, if you guys really want to achieve your goals financially, you got to be more aggressive. Okay, you got to be and get out of your comfort zone and maximize your time. Like Coach Seymour says, there's 86,400 seconds in the day. Subtract out sleep, subtract out work, you still have at least 2 or 4 hours to, put in the work for the business. And I guarantee if your boss was what required you to do things for your job, right? Because to keep your job, you need to have that same mindset with this business, right? And the reason I go so hard the way I do is because I have goals I want to achieve, for myself, for my family. I know you guys have goals too. Go see more. He has four two sons, four grandkids, and he wants his family to remember him once he's gone for not for leaving bills and debt, but for leaving a legacy, leaving assets, right? Things like that. So I just want to encourage you guys, take this seriously because what we have our hands on is really huge. And it's been a little rough for the past 3.5 weeks. We are in soft launch mode, but things are starting to smooth out. and we just want to see you guys all win, and so we can celebrate everybody hitting that diamond or whatever your goal, your rank goal is. And congratulations, Charlotte, for platinum. I know Cosimo, I think, is bronze or gold, and there are other people who have hit ranks, but we really want to see everybody, hitting those ranks with, if you're here, to enjoy the benefits of the pay plan. If you're here for to be a customer, that's great because health is wealth. Or if you're here just for the social aspect, that's good too. But I don't know if you guys are paying attention. Even though the war is supposedly over in Iraq, things are still going to get cost more because fuel costs are more, food is costing food to cost more, houses cost more, cars. You can't go out there and buy a $5,000 car anymore. And Kenya, she's in the car business. I guarantee she hasn't sold a $5,000 car. So, things cost more. And if we really want to, beat inflation, the best way to beat inflation is to increase your income. So we gotta just take it serious, guys, and go out there and build and keep out the goal. Congratulations, Coach Seymour. Take it serious because there's people out there who need cocoa blue. There's people out there who need black seed oil or who need the pain lotion. And if they don't know you have a solution to their problem, because you're being a secret agent and focus on posting motivational quotes and posting animals and dogs and don't make a single post about your business, how are you going to reach the people you say you care about, right? And if we're not sharing with people, especially people we know, if you're using something that's working for you and you're not sharing it with people, you're being selfish. And so, if you guys really want to accomplish your goals, I encourage you guys to be more aggressive and be more consistent with letting people know about about the products we have, and also about the pay plan, how the money works. And Paula made it so simple. Is every customer who joins us and gets active or 10BV, they qualify for matrix pay. And there's people who have like $5 or $10 as a customer and matrix pay in only 3 weeks, and they're not building the business. So that's all I had to share tonight. Just wanted to piggyback off of what Coach Charlotte and Jessica and Coach Seymour said tonight. But be more aggressive, guys, and let people know you do have a business and you have some products that can help change people's lives, especially Cocoa Blue. For people who drink energy drinks, I want to challenge you guys. Drink Cocoa Blue for 7 days and don't drink don't drink any energy drinks. See how you feel for 7 days. All right, so that's all I had, guys. But appreciate everybody for being here. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. We have our income opportunity overview tomorrow night. So back to you, Jessica.
Thank you, everyone. And like I said, I agree with him. I would still use these products even if I wasn't building a business. These products gave me my life back. So I got rid of pain and stuff that I dealt with. So it's a blessing to be here, and I'm so grateful for it. And that's why I'm sharing with people daily. So thank you, everybody, for your time. Safe travels for anyone that's hitting those highways, and see y'all tomorrow.
Real quick, let me stop the recording. Someone asked, is it how many scoops of Cocoa Blue? It's 2 scoops to